All right, welcome back to the channel. Got a quick video for you today on how to do a super simple 5-gallon bucket chicken feeder. And this is basically like a free chicken feeder. So some of them are that you find out there are just a couple of bucks. Well, this one's actually free, and you need a couple of tools for it, and I'll show you how to do it here real quick.
Cock-a-doodle-crew, cock-a-doodle-crew, cock-a-doodle-crew.
All right, so we're going to start with our basic 5-gallon bucket. I have access to these pretty much free from my job, so I try to think of ways I can use them. And these are the good ones with a rubber gasket on the top, so it'll stay completely dry inside. Anyway, I'm going to be making a slice, a 5-inch slice, just a couple inches up from the bottom of this bucket, and then that's going to give us access to the inside for the chickens to eat out of. And so I will do that now. Okay, so you saw I have just this basic little back saw here, and doesn't really matter what you use to cut that with. It's easy to cut plastic, and I just cut a hole or cut a slice in there, and I think it's about 5 inches long. That seemed to be what worked well last time, so I'm going to go ahead and continue that with just about a 1 or 2 inch gap in between the slices all the way around the bucket. All right, so the next couple of tools you're going to need, one is the heat gun. And this is a simple item, have around the house for various projects. You could probably use a torch, you might be able to use a hair dryer, but you need a pretty high heat to get this plastic to melt or to soften. Not really to melt, but definitely to soften. And one more tool I'm using is it's like a metal ladle. I use it for my big wok. Actually, it's like in that box right there on the shelf. And so this happens to be a nice shape and size to push in on the softened plastic. So use whatever you want, but this is what works for me. And I'll show you the next step. Okay, so you saw there how I'm using the heat gun above the slice of the bucket, or above the slice on the bucket, to push in with my ladle. And I just kind of use that metal ladle and kind of work the shape to what I want. And so that's what you do, and do that all the way around, and you'll have some nice little openings for the grain to be available to the chickens in their in the bucket. And I've got some video I can roll in on that, but that's it. That's the basic idea. Do that all the way around. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this one out, and I'll show you that process. It kind of helps to heat these edges a little bit, if the camera will show on this white bucket, but kind of seems like the edges need a lot of heat to get that to hold and to really deform the original shape of the bucket. So you could use whatever you want for that. I wouldn't use your hand because it gets pretty hot, but that's what the metal ladle is nice. I have got this hot enough to melt it kind of and get it gooey and come off on the ladle. That's a little too hot, but as you can see, you take a basic 5-gallon bucket and turn it into a chicken feeder. It's not perfectly what they call, I guess, spill free, or you know, the chickens can kind of get some of the grain to come out the front when they're pecking around, but you could put a plate underneath it of some type, a rubber bowl, if you wanted to do it to get a little more spill proof, where they can go ahead and get into the rubber bowl when they spill a little bit and finish that up. Not that big of a deal to me. And you can hang this feeder if you want a little bit above the ground, just so they don't, so it's a little more head height, and that might help with the spilling so they can't get their feet in there. And I might even try this for a chick feeder as well. So we're going to see about that on the next video. We're getting a lot of chicks in, and here in the next couple weeks, and so we might even try some small holes, many of them all the way around, as a chick feeder. And anyway, just wanted to share that with you guys. Okay, so as you can see, this took a total of maybe 10 minutes to make a chicken feeder that's basically free, and just thought I would share that with you. Nothing too fancy, but if you wanted to spend a little time, you could get these markings and cuts really perfect, but it won't matter. And anyway, I'll show you the chickens eating out of it, and that's the project for today.